Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing the next updated gear guide in the series and we have a lot to cover. So I'm going to go over everything between levels 130 and 375, so let's hop right into it. So the first thing we're going to cover is known as Laboratory 2, and you can access this zone as low as level 165, and it is in fact the final zone of World 1. So the first mob you'll see in here are the droids, who drop both attack potions at 15% and critical potions at 10%, and then you'll also see steel bots who drop health potions at 15% and defense potions at 10%. And like every zone from this point on, there's going to be a quest, so make sure you look out for that if you want to get a little bit of extra XP in this area. And then of course, like every zone, there is a mini boss. This one is known as the Failed Experiment. So he drops health potions at 25%, speed potions at 6%, and defense potions at 35%. And then the only thing this zone drops gear-wise is known as the Energy Atomic Blade. So this weapon is pretty dang decent. So its level requirement is 185 plus, and it does 585 damage and has a drop rate of 7.5%. So it is pretty dang good for level 185 and has a low drop chance, but it isn't impossible to get and it looks pretty decent. So the next raid you can access at level 200, and this is Laboratory 1. So this raid is a little bit easier than it used to be, that is for sure. It used to be very painful on level, but nowadays not quite so much. So this is the biggest raid that you will do so far in this game. The first room, you'll see a whole bunch of robot mobs. The next room, you have a whole bunch of cyborg mobs. None of these guys drop anything, they just give you XP and gold. And the very first boss in this area is known as Vint. So the only tricky part about Vint is he does teleport around quite a bit, but like I said, it is not quite as bad as it used to be. So he drops attack potions at 50%, critical potions at 50%, and defense potions at 50% as well. And then he has 2 ring drops, and both of these are pretty decent. So the first ring drop we're going to talk about is known as the Ring of Pink Lightning. It is for levels 230 plus. It gives 320 attack, 115 crit, and 5 speed, and has a 5% drop rate. This is a very decent ring, definitely an upgrade from anything from the Sun Temple raid. The other ring he drops is known as the Ring of Purple Lightning. This one is for levels 230 plus as well. It gives 100 attack, 3 speed, 50 defense, and 500 HP, with also a 5% drop rate. So basically take your pick, one is offensive and one is defensive. Just choose whichever one you want based off of your necklace, that is what I suggest. So there is another boss in this raid. It's the first raid to introduce 2 bosses at once, and the other boss is known as the Poison Master. The Poison Master strategy I recommend is to drag him into the bigger room so you have more space to run around, but really he's incredibly easy nowadays compared to what he used to be. So he drops health potions at 35%, speed potions at 6%, T1 rune crystal bags at 10%, and then a whole other load of stuff. So the first weapon he drops is known as the Foresight. So the Foresight is definitely a very good weapon. It is for levels 200 plus and does a whopping 750 damage. This thing is fantastic. It has a 9% drop rate, so you won't struggle too bad to get it, but it is already better than any weapon you could have gotten previously to this point. The other weapon he drops is known as the Thunder Fang, and this is your next godly weapon. It is for levels 200 plus as well, and does 999 damage, and has a drop rate of 0.8%, so you will struggle to get this. Like the Sun Temple raid, there is an aura drop from this raid, and it is known as the Venom Aura. It has 6 attack, 3 crit, 3 defense, and 5 HP, at a 0.4% drop rate. In my opinion, I do not recommend you go out of your way for this one, because the Supernova Aura is a little bit better, because the most important stat with auras is always speed. So like every other raid, there is going to be an armor for hardcore only. This is known as the Lab Coat of Misery. It is for levels 200 plus. It does 270 attack, no crit, no speed, 95 defense, and 750 HP. And it has a low 12.5% drop rate, so this is the first armor to have a little bit less than 15%. Anyways, with that said, we're going to be very quickly moving on to World 2. So now in World 2, the very first zone you'll see is going to be the Overgrowth Journey, and you have to be level 250 to go here. So in the Overgrowth Journey, there is a lot of things. So the first mob you'll see is going to be Crystal Warriors, who drop defense potions at 5% and attack potions at 8%, and they actually have a rare weapon drop known as the Amber Gem Sword. So this thing is for levels 250 plus, but it only does around 690 damage, and it has a terrible drop rate of 0.9%. So 1, it's very hard to get, and 2, it is pretty trash because you probably are going to have at least foresight from the previous raid. The other mobs in this area are the miners, who drop critical health potions at 5% and health potions at 8%. So there is 2 mini bosses in this area instead of 1, so the first massive zone. The first one we'll talk about is the Luminary Golem. So the Luminary Golem drops speed potions at 3%, mega critical potions at 5%, and mega defense potions at 5%. And it has a weapon known as the Crystal Blade. So the Crystal Blade is decent if you did not get Thunder Fang. Its level requirement is 260 plus, and it does 859 damage at an 8% drop rate. So this one is not nearly as bad to go for, and it is a very good weapon, so I do recommend you go for this if you did not get Thunder Fang from Laboratory 2. And the Luminary Golem also does drop a necklace. So this necklace is known as Radiant. It gives 300 attack, 70 crit, 10 speed, 50 defense, and 150 HP at level 280 plus with a 4% drop rate. So this is a great necklace. It is for offense, but it is pretty well rounded as well because you get a lot of HP and defense. But in my opinion, the necklace from the other mini boss is a little bit better. So the other mini boss in this area is known as the Steam Golem. So the Steam Golem has a lot of drops. He drops mega speed potions at a 0.1%, so good luck with that. He drops mega health potions at 10% and mega attack potions at 10% as well. And he actually drops a pet known as the Punk Master at 3%, so that can be kind of useful for fusions or if you don't have a pet yet. But his main drop is the core of the Mechanical Golem, which I very much so recommend you go for. This thing is great. It is level 280 plus, it gives 518 attack, 90 crit, 5 speed, no defense, no HP. So this thing comboed with the Ring of Purple Lightning is fantastic because you're getting a lot of attack from this necklace, and then you're going to get your defense from the ring. So overall, I highly recommend you go out of your way for this thing. So the next raid you can do is level 285 plus, and it is the Crystal Caverns, and this one is pretty long. There is a lot of mob rooms and a couple of mini bosses. So first you're going to see a ton of gem warriors. They just give you XP and gold. You're going to kill a lot of those guys, but there is a lot of mini bosses known as the Giant Crystal Gang. So correlating to their color, they drop mega potions and normal potions. So the blue one drops defense potions and mega defense potions. The green one drops attack potions and mega attack potions. And the red one drops mega health potions and health potions. So they are pretty useful for getting potions for sure. Now the actual boss is known as the Crystal Queen and can be a little bit tricky, so like the Shadow Palace, this boss will summon in something at around half health that keeps him immune until you kill it. And the Crystal Queen has a lot of drops. So first it drops mega health potions at 40%, it drops mega attack potions at 40%, and this is the first boss to drop T2 rune crystal bags at 20%, and then it also drops mega speed potions at a 1.8% chance. So this thing also drops, of course, a weapon, and the weapon that you're going to get from here is known as the Shadow Crystal Blade, and this is by far the best weapon you can get up to this point. It is for levels 275 plus, it does 1,780 damage and has a 4% drop rate. I highly recommend you farm this raid until you get it. It is very necessary. It makes your damage output so much higher. So the other thing that she does drop is known as the Rainbow Crystal Gem Trinket for levels 300 plus. It does 120 attack, 10 crit, 50 defense, and 875 HP, and this is a necklace, and it has a terrible 2% drop rate, but this is a great defensive necklace. If you're soloing things and you're finding yourself dying a lot, I highly recommend you go out of your way for this, because it just gives you so much HP and defense, and it still gives you a little bit of attack and a little bit of crit, so it is very useful. Now, like every single raid on hardcore, this boss does drop an armor, and this armor is known as the Crystal Light Reflectance. So it is for levels 285 plus, it does 1,050 attack, no crit, no speed, 95 defense, and 1,550 HP at a 10% drop rate on hardcore only. This is a great piece of armor. Like always, I highly recommend you try to get the armor because armor really boosts your stats. So the next thing we're going to talk about is the zone known as the Lost City of Time, and you can access this zone at level 360, and there is a lot to talk about in here. So the first mobs you're going to probably see are the Shadow Allegiance Rogue Agents. These guys drop attack potions at 7% and mega attack potions at 4%, and that's it. The other mobs in here are Shadow Allegiance Assassins. They drop Mega Health Potions at 9% and Normal Health Potions at 16%. Now this area actually has 3 mini-bosses. So the first one we're going to talk about is known as the Ancient Gladiator. This is probably the least useful out of all 3. This guy drops Defense Potions at 12% and Mega Defense Potions at 5%. And then he drops Rune Crystal Bags at a terrible 0.2% chance, so there really is no point in farming this mini-boss. In my opinion, you can pretty much ignore him. Now these next few mini-bosses are good to farm. First is Shade's Shadow. This guy drops Speed Potions at 5%, Ultra Health Potions at 15%, and Mega Speed Potions at 0.2%. And he drops the next zone weapon known as the Umber Bolt Scimitar at a 4.5%. So this thing is exceptional. It does about twice as much damage as the previous zone weapon. It is for levels 360 plus and does 3,150 damage at a 4.5% drop rate. So is it hard to get? Absolutely. But it does a ton of damage. Like, this is going to make a major difference in your damage output if you get it. So the other mini boss in this area, and in my opinion the most important one to farm, is known as the Distant Pond Creature. He drops Mega Critical Potions at 4.5%, Critical Potions at 10%, and Mega Defense Potions at 5%. And the most important thing he drops is known as the Poisonous Creature's Striking Head. So he drops it at a very low 2% chance, but this thing is a must go for. So it is for a very high level 475 plus only, but it gives 650 attack, 120 critical, and 20 speed, no defense, and 500 HP. This thing is an offensive king. 120 critical and 20 speed on the necklace is amazing. You can even use this thing at very high levels if you have the right gear loadout. It is basically like the Tesla ring in necklace form. I highly recommend you go for this and go out of your way to farm it. It is amazing. You can actually access your very first special raid at level 375, and these are the mines. So the mines are a very important part of the game. However, you need a key to get there. The way you get keys is through daily rewards. You can get keys from farming the level 250 Coliseum bosses, and basically mines are how you get pet gems. I'm not going to go crazy in depth into pet gems, but the mines is something you want to always be farming because it is very important to get your pet gems, especially at level 375. So the first boss in there is Parazen T1. He drops Gem Dust at 25% and Purple Solidifiers at 20% and Mine Keys at 3%. And then there's the Parazen Tier 2, who drops all the same stuff at the same percent. And then the final one is Parazen Tier 3, who drops Gem Dust at a 33% and a Purple Solidifier at 25%. So the most staggering thing from the mines is going to be the Pickaxe drop. It has a 0.1% to actually drop, and it is for levels 325 plus, but it does 55,555 damage. So if you get this thing on level, you're set. It does a stupid amount of damage. Now, I don't recommend you go way out of your way for it because you're gonna be farming the mines a lot anyways for all the gem dust for your pet gems. So every single time you do that, you will get a shot at getting this thing. It is exceptional on level, and it is worth a lot of money on the marketplace as well. Anyways, guys, thank you very much for watching my updated gear guide. The next episode is gonna be 375 to, I think, 700, something in that range. But yeah, thanks for watching. Check my channel out for more videos, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.